at all. Now I see yo bitch ass. Be free, Matt. Be free. Planet Fitness. Be free. Yo bitch ass. Be free, Matt. Be free. I can't. Fitness. Be free. Huh? Make sure you're using your right mic. Your quality changed significantly. You sounded better a minute ago until the video kicked on. Did your camera have a microphone? I think it switched. Double check. No, now you sound good. What the fuck? Fucking Skype piece of shit, motherfucker. I'll kill Skype. Hold on, I can get GarageBand going. Zubatron. Yeah, I can see. I got an ad, but I saw us for a second. Hold on. I'm launching GarageBand, and we got to do a recording test, and then we can start. Yeah, I got them. Come on, GarageBand. What the shit? Voice. Loading. Bitches. Oh, I gotta figure out my settings too. Hold on. Natural. Oh, it saved it. Test check. Fuck a ye. Okay, now your quality changed. What happened? It sounds like a webcam microphone instead of your nice microphone. It drastically changes. Like, trust me, I'm not crazy and shit. I mean, I'm crazy, but you know what I mean.
I mean, I know you're not crazy, but I don't fucking know.
All right, hold on. I gotta do a recordo testo, cuz. Do a playbacko testo.
Testing 1 2 3 testing. Testing 1 2 3 testing. Oh god, that sounds terrible. What the fuck?
Yeah, it didn't a minute ago. I'm telling you, something keeps changing on you.
Hold on. This piece of shit mic.
All right, I am go for recording. I might fuck with my levels though, but I can do that on the fly.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Okay, that sounds better.
It's better.
It's a little loud, but let me turn the
That's
levels down a little bit. Testing.
Just make sure you're not going over peak when you talk on your recording. That's all that matters. I can level them later on.
Yeah, you're going to normalize it too. No public audio for Dude on Left. Yes, no, we can hear him. Oh, Cardsphere. Hey, Cardsphere. Can you guys hear me now?
Oh, that is...
Oh, now we can hear him. So Cardsphere, that is a website that... I know you're not that familiar with Magic trading and all that, but...
Hold on, technical difficulties. I'm frozen on the stream and you're not.
Oh no, what happened? Oh, now it's not. That's weird. Can you move around? Alright. I think it should be fine now.
Hold on, I'm waiting.
It's like
yeah, it's working.
Seconds.
It's working.
Okay.
It's working. We're good.
So Cardsphere is a Magic the Gathering website that it's similar to a less popular website called Puka Trade, where you'd be able to trade cards for points.
Oh no, do you owe them money? Is that where this is headed?
No. No, but so Puka Trade was really bad at valuing their currency. They basically gave away points and all that shit. But what Cardsphere does is they actually, you trade for money, or you trade for value, like whatever the card is actually worth, you trade for that much. So say if I have a $10 card, I can receive $10 worth of trade. Something like that. I'm probably explaining it totally wrong. Cardsphere can probably tell me in the chat, like, I'm retarded or something. But
they haven't yet. We haven't started officially yet, Cardsphere, so just our first live stream back in a while. He said pretty fair, or she, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But I am ready to record whenever you are.
Yeah, I think I'm good, Matt. Yeah, I think I'm all right. Let's go ahead and just start the recording, and let's get our sync ready. All right, I'm recording, confirmed. Let me know when you're ready.
All right, I am recording, confirmed now.
Now, hold on. I just thought of something. In order for this to work, you need whatever sync sound we use to show up in your track.
What do you mean?
Like, that needs to show up in your recording. So when we sync them together, I have something to match it to.
Okay, so what, you want me to snap or something?
No, it has to be the same source. It has to be the same time. See what I'm saying? Okay, here's what we can do. This is going to be really
I'm going to stop it.
Yeah, true.
Oh, shit, I closed out of the Twitch stream. I did not mean to do that. Because I want to keep it up.
Right. All right, so I guess what we could do is you could crank the volume in your headphones and hold them up to your mic, and then I can do a snap or a pop loud.
Okay.
And that'll be marked on yours, and we should be able to sync them together. Somewhat.
All right. This is janky as fuck.
Yeah, it is. We'll come up with a better way to do this, but at least let's just get going.
All right.
So I'm recording. Are you recording?
Yeah, I'm recording now.
All right, hold them up to it. Crank the volume. Give me a thumbs up.
It's up as high as it can get.
All right, you ready? 3, 2, 1.
Ah!
All right. So hopefully it got the clap. Did you see it when I clapped? Did you see like a peak? Okay, then we should be good. I should be able to sync it to that.
Okay.
Cool. All right, so we're good. All right, welcome, everybody, to another edition of the VCR Gaming Podcast. We are super high tech. If you're watching the live stream, you know what we're talking about. We're syncing our audio now, very professionally. Highest equipment that we could possibly conjure tonight is being used. So everybody, just before we get started here, we are trying this out, this new live stream thing. We are on Twitch. We are using Zubatron's Twitch, so you guys can catch us. We'll try to tweet out every time before we go live. We do have one person with us. So how you doing, Matt? How you been?
Actually, we've got 4 viewers right now, which is really cool.
2 of those are us.
Oh, well, now you now you made me all sad. I'm doing awesome. I hit it really hard at the gym tonight, it felt really good, especially after today's BS at work. And then after that, I came home, and I got to tell you, I'm feeling in that. I think I talked about it with you a little bit earlier, that I'm feeling in a little bit of a gaming rut right now because I've played so many games lately that there's just not much else for me to play right now.
Well, I mean, it's acceptable because the last time you were in a gaming rut, it took you quite a while to get out of it, and you came back from this one with a vengeance. So your list of games is impressive.
Oh, dude. Well, I think a lot of it had to do when I had those 12 days off for Christmas and all that, when I had nothing else to do except play games every day.
Yeah, totally. It was pretty cool. I had my vacation came directly after yours, and I think I did pretty much the same. I kind of shadowed you a little bit with one of the games. We both played kind of the same game at almost the same time. Wolfenstein.
Oh, yeah, Wolfenstein. Yeah, that's right. But you played on the computer, you see, and I swear that game has to be easier with a mouse and keyboard compared to controller.
I mean, that's always the case with shooters, though, right? I mean,
for the most part, yeah. I'd have to agree with that. It's just, and I'm not gonna say that I'm super awesome at shooters. I feel I'm pretty decent. You know, I can beat most shooting games on, hard difficulty and all that. But Wolfenstein, I just couldn't do it with a controller. The aiming was off, even changing sensitivities and shit. I had to play it on easy throughout like from God, what part? From the part where you just came back from the moon and on, I had to play it on easy.
That's pretty far in the game, to be fair, but that is saying a lot, and it proves your point, because I mean, as much as it pains me to say it, you're probably better at especially shooters than I am at games. Most games, Zuby is actually pretty proficient. So if he had to turn it down on the console and I didn't on the PC, that's a pretty good proof that mouse and keyboard. I feel like it takes less skill. I mean, some people are going to be mad that I say that, but I think there's more skill with a controller, man. I really do.
There is. It's I mean, I even remember back to my days of when playing Call of Duty. I played a lot of Call of Duty on the computer, Call of Duty 1 and 2.
Right.
And then when I didn't play 3, but when Modern Warfare 1 came out on the PS3, and I had to play with all my buddies back then, it was such a hard thing getting used to controllers, because I was so used to mouse and keyboard, and then having to go to a controller took me so long to get used to, but I finally got used to it. And yeah, no matter what, I still prefer mouse and keyboard, though. It's always the best way. Just like the recent Doom on that came out, a year or two ago.
I think it's easier. I think it helps you focus on games that are quite difficult when it comes to precision shooting. Yeah. I don't know. I think I got to go controller, man, just because it's more of an accomplishment, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense? Like more skill?
I guess, but I mean, there's also aim assist that a lot of people use on.
Oh, turn that shit off! And if you're playing multiplayer, a lot of times it is disabled. So I mean, you can make that argument. But well, all right. So I mean, granted, you and I came up. We were able to play PC and console stuff, but like analog sticks, especially where you use the 2 analog sticks. One for moving around and one for your actual aim. That came, late PS2 era or sometime mid PS2 era, maybe?
I thought it was early PS2 that came.
It might have been. But PS2 era, right, was the first time we really started utilizing that. Like PS1, they really hadn't figured that out yet. So, but I can tell you this, is that I never had a time when I was on a mouse and keyboard that I didn't easily pick it up very quickly and was able to put my cursor precisely where I wanted it. Dude, I struggled, as you were just saying, you did as well. I struggled at first to be proficient with the dual analog, with getting shit where you wanted to be. I mean, you probably remember it's like you would move like one joystick where you wanted it and then the other. You know what I mean? And kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I can remember that.
That's I don't know. We could probably have this debate for forever, and people probably don't even want to hear it, but.
I don't care if they don't want to hear it.
Hardsphere is a controller guy, Matt. How about that?
I'm a controller, but I think mouse and keyboard are more legit, less correction and software. Right controller people get lots of help, I think. Well, he is right. Controller people do get a lot more help, though.
They do.
That's the thing. It's and you just talking about shooting games reminded me of the terrible control movement of Resident Evil 1 on PS1.
Oh, God,
you remember that? Where
basically unplayable.
The directional pad, you had to basically turn for your direction. Like you'd use the left and right the left or right button to turn into a direction and then go forward or backwards. Oh God, I can still remember that, and it's terrible. I don't even know how you play that game anymore.
So, Cardsphere is trying to say that Ape Escape was the introduction of that style of controls, I believe, is what he's saying. And I can't confirm or deny that, but that would actually make sense.
Oh, I remember Ape Escape, but
yeah, I remember that.
I had to look it up real quick because I couldn't remember it off the top of my head.
If that's true, though, that's PlayStation 1 because it came out in '99 on the PS1. We might have to look into that. Yeah. But if that's true, then.
Oh no, did we lose Butler here? Uh-oh, I think we may be having some technical difficulties. I think I may have just lost Butler just now from him. Yeah. So, like he was saying, yeah, we probably would have to look into the Ape Escape as well. Here, I'm going to hang up the Skype call here and see if I can call him back. Aaron. Just some slight technical difficulties here, people. We're trying out a new format for our podcast anyway, and this is to be expected that we get stuff like this happening. Hold on, he's texting me now. Oh snap! So Butler just lost the power to his house. What the fuck? That's pretty crazy actually. Because he and I only live like I think 20 minutes away from each other, and it is raining outside right now, and it is stormy, but it hasn't really been lightning or anything like that. So that is pretty crazy here. Hold on, he's texting me. Oh, his whole neighborhood is out in terms of power. Wow, that is crazy. So this might be a solo podcast. I'm going to keep going. Okay. So, yeah, that really sucks. So I will definitely keep you all informed if he comes back, because that kind of just sucks. Well, shit, I wasn't even expecting that. Well, shit, now I gotta put a little placeholder. Hold on, I can make his, yeah, just disappear like that on the stream. But anyways, as we were talking about, I think in the end, yeah, I just really prefer mouse and keyboard more than anything. And after playing Wolfenstein like that, it just ended up being, it's definitely way too hard for you to, or no, it was, I don't know, it was just something about the game felt harder than it should have been. It felt, oh, what's the best way to describe it? It just felt kind of cheap at times, like some of the health of the enemies, and that's a big problem with a lot of shooting games, is that a lot of when you set the even difficulty to normal or hard, a lot of the enemies just become basically like health tanks, I guess, where it's not really making it hard, it just takes more bullets to kill them, and it's usually not very fun. And that's what I felt about Wolfenstein 1. Wolfenstein 2 felt way more guilty of that when he's especially set it up harder. And oh god, I don't know. There were at times in Wolfenstein 2 that I just did not have fun with the game, even though I felt the gameplay was better per se. It just wasn't as, I guess I didn't get that involved with the story as much as I did with Wolfenstein 1. So, I don't know. So what else so as I was saying before, I was off for 12 days last month during Christmas, and I played a lot of games. I played Wolfenstein 1 and 2, finally played Uncharted 3, and I hated it. Oh my god, I hated every single bit of it. It was just, oh god. And I loved Uncharted 1 and 2, don't get me wrong, because Butler has been the one. Oh, well, he's wanting to FaceTime now, so.
Dude, it's very dark in my house right now.
I can't even see you right now. So I'm still recording here, by the way. We still. Okay. Yeah, so I've been letting them know that. Oh, did you just get power? Oh no, is that a flashlight?
No. Oh shit, garage door won't work. No, it's a flashlight. I'm shining it at the ceiling.
So that is crazy, man.
Hold on.
So yeah, Butler's power just went completely out. Like I said, it's storming out right now, but I don't know about your area. I was trying to open up the garage. But it's storming in my area right now, but there's no lightning or anything like that. So that's crazy that your power just went completely out.
Dude, it sucks, man. My whole, I don't know, my phone can see, probably not. My whole neighborhood is out.
Wow.
And, yeah, that's some bullshit, man.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I've kind of got my phone near the mic, so maybe they can sort of hear you when we finish up tonight.
Right, that's pretty lame, man. That sucks. Sorry, y'all.
No, I mean, like I said, it's our first time live streaming, and you know, it's just the kind of shit that happens.
I'll make sure that I run my computer off my backup generator next time.
So I was just talking about some of the games I was playing over the 12-day break, and I started getting into Uncharted 3 and how much I hated that game. So, wait, Cardsphere says, wait, no power, and he's going into the garage. I guess he doesn't play survival horror. You're gonna die. Oh, and they can hear you, by the way, so that's good.
Yeah, I know. Just tell them I wanted to check the neighborhood, and yeah, garage is probably not the best move.
So, oh god, that's funny. But yeah, so you played Uncharted 3 when it first came out, and I want your honest opinion of it when it first came out, because you know my feelings of that game. I hated that game.
Oh yeah, just hopefully everybody can hear me. Turn me up and stick me by the mic. But so I was so like swinging from Uncharted nuts at the time because Uncharted 2 and all that.
Yeah.
I had the beta for Uncharted 3, which was online, like it was the multiplayer, and then I got Uncharted 3 when it came out. And to be perfectly honest with you, I had higher hopes for the multiplayer because that's what I played.
Yeah.
On 2. But the story, a huge letdown. It felt like they shovelwared Uncharted. Like, if that makes sense. Like, they just, let's hurry up and spit a script out, and let's use all the same tricks we used in the last one.
It felt like a... Like the story. It felt like a rehashed Uncharted 2, but worse.
Yeah. No, that's for real. I would agree with you. It's the worst in the series, and I'm not a fan of number 1. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I think refer to it as the worst game of all time.
Not the worst game.
Like one of the worst games.
I don't consider it one of the worst games of all time. I consider it the worst Uncharted. And I've told you my complaints about Uncharted 1. And my biggest complaint with Uncharted 1 was all the guns except the pistol were completely useless.
Yeah, the pistol was devastating.
Dude, it was so overpowered. And
I'm surprised they never fixed that with a patch. That's weird.
Yeah, and I played nothing but the remastered version, so I don't know if it was the same. Yeah. But yeah, so I finally... What? Hello?
Sorry, go ahead, man. Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, no. So, after playing Uncharted 3 and begrudgingly playing that and beating it, I finally played probably what I consider one of the best games I've ever played, and that's Uncharted 4. And I know you told me, as soon as it came out that I need to play it, but I had to play the other 3. And Uncharted 3 was technically the game that made me stop playing for a long time because I hated it so much. And so when I finally did play Uncharted 4, holy fuck, I was missing out, man. It was so good from start to finish.
Oh, but I ain't nobody. I don't know nothing about games, man. I don't know shit.
No, you don't.
I'm trying to tell you that since before it came out.
I know. But dude, that's a game that you and I should play some multiplayer. When you finally come out of the Stone Age and get electricity.
Yeah. Right. When I have power. When I'm not, relinquished to my Game Boy Advance. We can set that up. Yeah, I'd be totally down with that. Uncharted 4, I never played the Vita one. And I haven't played the new... What's the new expansion for 4? What's that?
Lost Legacy.
No, it's not an expansion.
It's Lost Legacy.
What's that?
Lost Legacy.
Lost Legacy. I haven't played that. So, barring those 2, I agree. 4 is phenomenal. And as a game in general, in fact, visually, it's probably the best game on the PlayStation currently, I would say.
You think so? On PS4?
Oh, might have lost you.
You think that's the...
You there?
Yeah, you think that's the best game on PS4?
Yeah. It's visually, like graphically, the best game on the PS4, absolutely.
I don't know. I may have to disagree with you. It looks really, really good, but like Final Fantasy 15 on PS4 Pro looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a peasant. I don't know what pro stuff looks like, so I'm going to defer to you on that one, on the pro front. But I did play both on the peasant PS4, and for sure Uncharted 4 looks better than Final Fantasy. But I don't know about the pro. I'll defer to you on that.
Our chat is saying that Horizon Zero Dawn looks better than Uncharted 4.
Bullshit, and I'll tell you why. Is because look at the mouth and the facial shit on Horizon versus Uncharted, and they didn't get it right. It's wrong. It's so the talking is so fucked.
So you're talking more about oh shit, what is it? Motion capture compared to.
Well, look, I said graphically and visually, and I gotta look at motherfuckers' faces, and if that shit don't work right in one game, Horizon, and it works right in Uncharted's got to win for me, man.
Okay, I can agree with you on that. I think visually the environments look better in Horizon. They don't have that motion blur, which that did get to me a little in certain areas of Uncharted 4. That motion blur, like where you move the camera around, it's sort of blurry. But I'm not to take away that.
That was my TV, dude. I thought that was my TV. I was trying to shut that shit off. You're right. Okay, no. I'll go with you on that.
No, but I mean, not to take away that it didn't look beautiful, but no, I definitely agree. The motion capture and the actual fidelity of the facial graphics look way better in Uncharted 4. But I think it's because they focused way more on that because it's meant to be more of a cinematic experience than, say, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, but, I mean, come on. They motion capped Horizon Zero Dawn. They worked on that shit for years. And honestly, and I'm not making this up, there are PS2 games that do the mouth movement and facial expressions far better than they did in Horizon Zero Dawn.
No, not PS2 era. I can maybe agree PS3, but not PS2.
No, I'm not talking it didn't have as many polygons in the face or it wasn't as pretty. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying the mouth movement, matching what motherfuckers are saying. Yeah, dude, come on.
Dude, you're gonna make me spit water out.
But I'm right, though. I'm right, and that it ruins it for me. Like,
no, I'm gonna need you to.
Would have been my best PS4 game of all time if it didn't do that every time I play it.
Now you're gonna have to find a PS2 game that has better mouth movement because I'm not gonna believe you otherwise.
All right, I will.
And don't be like Vice City or some shit because that looks terrible. Wasn't Black Rain on PS2? Card Sphere is right. Black Rain was on PS2. That definitely looked better than Horizon Zero Dawn.
And it was good.
God, Black Rain. I remember that game was hyped as hell when it came out. I don't even remember that game.
It was a technological masterpiece for a console. It was.
Yeah. Didn't that come out on Xbox also, or GameCube or something?
I think Xbox it did later on, and that would probably be the superior version if that's true.
Yeah. Oh, now we got Card Sphere saying Heavy Rain, but yeah, that was PS3 era. I still need to play Heavy Rain one day. I'll do it one day.
Yeah, I've never played that either.
I think it's remastered on PS4. I think so. But
but anyways, yeah, Uncharted 4, man. I'm glad you finally played it. I'm glad that you make it look like I'm not just bullshitting or I'm a fanboy. Like it's really actually it is.
No, it really was.
But
I mean, yeah, no, I know you are, but it was really, really good. I enjoyed it from start to finish, and that out of all the Uncharteds, I can see myself playing that one again, probably more than any of the others.
Oh yeah, if I didn't have so much other shit on the backlog, I'd play it again. Absolutely.
God, don't even remind me. I've got so many fucking games I need to play. Shit, what are some of the other games that I've played and beaten? I'm trying to think for the PS4 because I played so many recently. Yeah, I talked about Wolfenstein. Oh, that's right. It's not a PS4 game, but I finally played through Assassin's Creed Brotherhood on PS3.
Oh, shit, yeah.
And I know, like, me being PC Master Race and PS4 Pro, I'm used to that 60 frames per second life. And going to a console that has at best 10 frames per second, it was quite a challenge for me.
Yeah, that's a little difficult.
But I didn't.
Frames per second.
Yeah, I did enjoy the game. I didn't think it was as good as Assassin's Creed 2, but I felt it was a nice continuation of the Desmond story with Ezio. And now that I'm playing Assassin's Creed Revelations finally, the one thing I noticed right away that I don't like is whoever the art director was, they completely changed the look of the main characters, which is really off-putting.
Yeah, you think that's due to like an engine change, like because they changed technologies, or is it an artistic thing?
I think it's more of an artistic thing because going from a Brotherhood to Revelations, there's definitely a step up in terms of graphics, and it runs a lot better than Brotherhood did. It's actually a lot smoother. I mean, it's still probably, 24 frames per second. It's not going to be 30 or 60 because it's PS3, but it definitely looks and feels better. But the look of Ezio and Desmond look way off compared to what he looked like in the previous 3 games.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, could it be perceived by some as better, though? Or is it bad?
I mean, it's not bad. It could technically be better. It's just, that's like it's like when you watch a sequel to a movie and they change the actor of the main character.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Okay, that's a good way to explain it too. Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, I've played the Assassin's Creeds, but I haven't played. I don't necessarily. I mean, maybe I don't know. I might have played. I might have noticed that. I don't know. It's been a while. I'm not a huge fan of the series.
So if you're just joining us, I see that we have about 4 viewers now. I usually have my co-host Butler here, but his power decided to go out in the middle of us just starting recording. There was a storm going on. Actually, his whole neighborhood went out, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So that's fun times. That sucks, man.
Yeah, pretty terrible. So we're bootleg podcasting via FaceTime.
Yeah, which the FaceTime is barely working for me right now. So
I killed the video so that I could look at
okay.
the show notes, and so that it would stop dropping out like it was, because it was dropping a lot. So it should be better now for audio.
Okay. So yeah, I've been slowly playing Assassin's Creed Revelations. The one thing I've noticed with the game right away is it's very similar to Brotherhood, where it has a lot of the same mechanics. There's some different climbing mechanics they put in, and they did add in a cool little tower defense little game, because you get these little what they call assassin's dens, and every so often you have to protect them from the Templars, and you have to summon armies of archers and fighters to protect them, and it's sort of a tower defense game.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And so that's that with that. That's that with that, yeah. And
that's that with Matt and Matt.
Yeah, with Matt and Matt. The other game I've been playing a lot of, and I think you've been playing a little bit too, it's this, I don't think many people have heard of it, is Super Mario Odyssey.
No, nobody's very, very hardly known. Nobody really even knows what you're talking about right now. We probably shouldn't include it. I don't want to bore people.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think anybody really knows what we're talking about here. But yeah, I've been playing that on the Switch, and oh wait, hold on. Efren3G just asked, is Assassin's Creed Revelations good for someone who completely burned out on Assassin's Creed, different enough to renew interest? Really got tired of it around Black Flag. It's as I said before, Brotherhood and Revelations are very, very similar. Revelations is definitely a step up in terms of the Ezio trilogy, but it's the same game. So I wouldn't expect much different with it. I mean,
Matt, you've been telling me about this game periodically as you've been playing it, and it's not enough to get to jump back into Assassin's Creed. I don't know if that helps at all.
No, to me, it's a sort of game that I enjoy playing every once in a while, not getting too deep into it. I really love the history aspect of it because you get to visit old, locations, and you get to see what Constantinople may have looked like back then, or Italy, or Rome, and it's really neat on that aspect. And the story is interesting, to say the least. But the one things that I know, and I'm not aware of the whole story of Assassin's Creed, but the one thing I know they do in the newer games that I don't like is there's really no story outside of the Animus, which I don't really care for.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't speak to that, so I'm not sure. What is it? The last one in the Ezio trilogy?
Yeah, I'm playing the last one, and because right after I'm done with Revelations, then I'm gonna start Assassin's Creed 3.
So you've never played Assassin's Creed 3?
No, and I know you've been telling me that's a good game.
It's good. If you really want one that's going to bring you back into the series and you haven't played that generation of them, I do recommend playing it. I did find it repetitive a little bit later on, but with the repetitiveness, it is, they did step the skill level up.
Okay.
So the story it could be a little more cohesive. I found it, Matt, on Revelations. How do they do is it open world or is it linear? I assume it's open world, like the others.
It's pretty open world. I mean, it's not open world right away. You don't have access to the entire city right away. You have to play through some missions, and then it opens up.
So, in the open world of it, is it like chunks of open world? Like you get to the edge of one sector and then it loads the next, and then you have that big open sandbox to play in, or is it one big large open world? It's
one big large open world, but I know where you're going with, because I know you've talked about that. Assassin's Creed 1 was like that, and in parts of Assassin's Creed 2 was similar to that as well.
Well, get ready for it when you go to 3 and beyond, because they made the maps and the worlds and the places you're going so large they can't keep it all loaded in the RAM at once. So you're going to have a bit of that, and it's kind of frustrating and annoying. And that's one thing that turned me off about it. We're used to games like Red Dead and Grand Theft Auto where you don't have to experience that, and it's kind of off-putting, I guess. But it didn't ruin it, but I didn't prefer it.
Oh, yeah, true. So, going back to Mario Odyssey, have you beaten the game yet?
No, I'm about to fight Bowser, and if the power doesn't come back on, that thing is battery powered, I just realized, so I might be able to fight. But that's all I have left to do. I'm on the moon, and that's all I have left to do.
Okay, yeah, so I've beaten the game. I've gotten to the darkest side of the moon. I haven't beaten that part yet, because it's a pain in the ass, and I haven't honestly really sat down and tried to beat it. It's just I'll do like one attempt and be like, okay, fuck this, I'm done. I need to just actually sit down and do it. I know I can. It's just I need the patience, and I don't have the mindset for it right now.
It's nice to know that there's sections of that kind of frustrating, level that that Mario. The Mario team, or Nintendo, if you will, tends to get to, because I did feel like a lot of Odyssey is a bit easy. Do you feel that way?
Yeah.
So it's nice to know there's some parts that are going to frustrate you and make you come back another day, because, I was playing Super Mario World probably earlier this year, and you can't. There's no fucking way you're going to sit down and beat that shit in like 2 or 3 sessions. Like, you're just not. And to me, that kind of gave you a lot of reason to keep coming back, and it kind of, made the games kind of string out. If you wanted to, you could be normal people. I'm not talking about people that play games all day, every day, but, people that work and things like that. You could beat Mario Odyssey in a week, like, no problem, your first time through, I mean. You know?
Yeah. The first time through, it's I've actually gone back and started a new save file, and I just wanted to see how long it would take me to beat the game straight through, and I could do it in. Yeah, I think I could do it in less than 5 hours. I can do it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because, like I said, that is one, and I've told you this, that's one complaint I have with the game, because I really screwed up my first playthrough, was once you get the amount of moons in that one world you're in, there's really no point to collect more. It won't help you progress in the story at all.
I mean, if you want to get the most out of it and you want to truly feel like you... Because a lot of people aren't going to go back after they beat Bowser and go back and replay. I mean, a lot of people aren't going to do that. They're going to feel like they've had enough and they're going to move on. So I recommend that if you are one of those people that's not going to go back and you know you're not, spend a little time and explore the worlds, because there is some cool, fun shit to do, and like some mini games and stuff like that, or mini levels, mini challenges.
Yeah.
But if you understand that there is, post-game content and stuff, then yeah, absolutely, it's pointless. You're right. I wish I wouldn't spend as much time as I did on some of it. I wish I would have listened to you.
Yeah, and it sucks, especially when I did my second playthrough. It just made me realize, I wasted all this time just exploring all the worlds the first time, which, not that I didn't hate doing that, it just felt, you come to realize, it's pointless. You can beat the game, and then you can go really start to explore the worlds. And that's what I've been doing. I finally finished collecting all the moons in Cat Kingdom and Cascade Falls. I'm starting to slowly go through each world now and finally collect all the coins and the moons, because I just basically rushed to get to 500 as quickly as I could. And I left probably 5 to 10 moons in a lot of the worlds, especially the beginning worlds.
So let's break it down real quick, just in case anybody hasn't played it. And this isn't really a spoiler, but the game is kind of a blend of Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario 64. Would you agree with that, Matt? For the most part.
I would say it's more similar to 64 and Sunshine. Galaxy is too linear to even compare to Odyssey.
Well, okay, but the way that you go from world to world and you're on a ship and you have to collect things to power the ship up to go to the next world, that's straight out of Galaxy.
Yeah, I can see that comparison. Yeah.
So all right, so it's kind of so it's a blend of Sunshine 64 and a little bit of Galaxy. Whereas you have this ship, and moons, think of it in Mario 64, you had to collect stars, and so many stars would open doors to get you into new worlds to play. Well, the way they do with this is you collect moons, real original.
It is.
Big change. Yeah. You collect moons, and the moons power up your ship to let you leave that world and go to the next one. So you need X number of moons to get to each one. So that's kind of when we talk about going from world to world or collecting moons. That's sort of what it is in a nutshell.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. I haven't had this much fun with a Mario game since probably Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. I really enjoyed Mario 3D World, but definitely not as much as I did with Galaxy 1 and 2.
It's not that Mario's 3D World is bad, but Odyssey is in my, if not top 3, top 4 Marios. I'm going to go ahead and say top 3. 3D Land isn't anywhere it's just not up there.
When you're talking Mario games, are you talking about just the straight platformers, not the RPGs?
Yeah, no. Correct. Good differentiation. Yeah, like traditional Super Mario games. Yeah, platforming. Save the princess, that type of shit. Not RPG, because I know how you feel about Mario RPG.
Oh yeah, it's the fucking best one.
I know how you feel about that. But no, exclude that, because that's a Square game, if we're honest. It's not a Miyamoto game. But yeah, I mean, would you agree? I mean, is it in your top list of Marios? I love it. I think it's brilliant.
What are your top 3 Mario games, if you had to?
I don't. Yeah, I'm not gonna put them in a specific order, but if you ask me to pick ones that I wanted to fucking play, it would be World. It would be Super Mario World. It would be Mario 64 and probably Odyssey.
Mario 64 and Odyssey. Yeah, I would definitely. Yeah, I would definitely choose Super Mario Brothers 3 because I've played that. I love that game so much.
It's solid. That would be like my number 4. It's solid for sure.
God, what would I have to choose next? I mean, right now Mario Odyssey would definitely make top 3, and God, it'd be a really close contender between World and 64. I think World might beat it out, though, if I had to be honest.
I agree. But 64 was, like, game-changing, you know? And, you know, nothing really holds up well on the 64. You can play the fuck out of Mario 64.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a type of game you can always go back to and visit, and it'll take you a reasonable amount of time to beat as well if you're not, like, a speedrunner or some shit.
Man, that game will take you a lot longer than Odyssey to beat. A lot longer.
Yeah, because it's fucking harder it's harder and the camera angles are shit.
Oh, you got some C buttons, baby. No analogs. No dual analogs. Like we were talking about before.
And talk about horrible camera angles. Dude, you know what I really want to go back? See, I really need to pick myself up a 64 again because I've been really itching to play some GoldenEye.
Dude, you need to hurry up. Them shits are gaining value on the
I
day.
know.
Not to mention, stores aren't having them in stock right now.
I know, it's
That's
bullshit.
Nuts.
It's bullshit, man. I just watched some video of GoldenEye, just, you know, a little trailer of GoldenEye or whatever, and I'm just like, oh my god, I have so many memories playing that game, man. That was the game. I mean, granted, I think I grew up playing more Super Nintendo and regular Nintendo, but the 64 was like the best party system for my teenage years. You know, it was not only Mario Party 1 and 2, because we didn't really play 3, but GoldenEye, Mario Kart 64, Smash Brothers. But GoldenEye was like the #1 game we all played.
I think anybody from our generation would tell you that they have a profane attachment to GoldenEye, man, because you didn't have, I mean, yeah, there was like your Duke Nukem's and your Quakes and stuff, but you had to have a hardcore PC at the time. Not a lot of people did. Not everybody did. Certainly not.
Yeah,
and that was a way to do first-person shooter with your friends, man. You know, like that was where it started. You know, we all still play that shit today. You know, so we should, man. Next time we can chill or something on like a Friday night, man. You should come over and we should play some fucking GoldenEye.
Oh, do you have it?
Of course I have. Come on, bro. Of course I have that shit. Yeah, man. Do you ever, I don't know, I might have told you, and if I said this on the podcast before, my bad, but we were talking about it. Did I ever tell you, or did it ever come up where, how, like, they still do tournaments for that, how they do the control scheme? They change the controls. Did I ever tell you about that for GoldenEye?
I know we talked about it before, but I don't remember at all how they set it up.
They reverse it. They give you the look on the analog stick, and then they do their forward, back, side striping and all that on the C stick. Instead of having the up and down, having to screw it on the C buttons, they reverse it, so it's like more modern. It's reversed, like it's backwards than what you're used to, like as far as orientation. But that's what they do, and it's pretty interesting to watch. And I don't know why we never thought to do that as kids.
Well, we didn't know any better as kids.
I mean, but it's in there. Like, it's in the settings. Like, you can just go do it. Like, and it's like, why weren't we doing that?
I'd be interested to try that. Efren3G just said that was him, Duke Nukem, in the computer lab with serial cables. That's some pretty OG shit right there.
Dude, you got dedication if you're playing Duke Nukem on serial cables, because that's like slower than like a 33.6 modem.
Well, yeah, but you got to remember there's not much data being transferred back and forth back then, though. I mean,
yeah, true, and there's probably not much in the speak of lag or anything.
And dude, I remember wanting to play Doom and Doom 2 with buddies so bad because I read up on, how to play LAN and dial up and all that with Doom and Doom 2, but I had no buddies who had a computer. it was like I was one of the only kids that I knew that had a computer, and I was so sad a lot of times.
Dude, that is so sad because we lived in the same town and didn't know each other, and I did. We could have done that, Matt.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Fuck. Damn it. I would have did that shit. Honestly, I knew like one other kid. My buddy Sean was the only person locally that I knew, and if he wasn't available, you weren't doing it.
Yeah, pretty much. But I guess moving on to another game I've been playing, which I haven't played in about a week, and for good reason, and that's Stardew Valley. I have warned you not to play that game because it is soul sucking, and it's basically Harvest Moon. They basically took Harvest Moon Back to Nature from PS1 and turned it into a 16-bit game. And because Harvest Moon Back to Nature is my favorite Harvest Moon game, and I mean, obviously they've added their own flavor to the game as well too. But it's a really addicting game, and I there's a reason why I haven't played it for about a week, because I need to have a life.
Well, didn't you say you played like almost or at 30 hours in the first weekend that you had it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know that hardcore gamers, that's nothing. They do that shit in one day, even though there's 24 hours in a day. But people like us, I mean, that's taking all of our free time. So that's pretty scary.
Yeah, it is. Man. And I've told you, don't get it. And I'm going to
get it.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
All right, question. Real question, though. Harvest Moon, the PS1 one, the one you were talking about, or Stardew Valley?
Stardew Valley, because it's... And the only reason I say that is because Harvest Moon on PS1 has aged, and it's slow now. Like, when playing it, like, the load times and all that, and moving from place to place is slow. Stardew Valley is just a lot smoother. And while I think there are some parts of Harvest Moon Back to Nature I prefer with the way the game works, but Stardew Valley is just a much easier experience.
And there's no freemiumness to that game, is there?
No. Once you buy the game, that's it.
Good. Thank God. Damn, it sounds like it's a game that they went the right way. Like, it sounds like it's truly great. You're not the first person to tell me about this. I've been meaning to get it. I just, haven't. But it's almost like every time I hear about it, I'm in my mind, I'm like, oh, this must be a freemium, like, mobile game.
No, it's nothing like that at all.
Do it is awesome.
Yeah, they could have easily have done that too, make it a freemium game, and it's only one guy that made the game. It's only one person.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
one guy. How long did it take him?
I think I want to say 3 or 4 years before it finally came out, and even though he's the only guy, and it does take a long time for updates to come out since he's the only one who does it. So, I mean, you can't blame him though. I mean, that guy must be freaking like living in a dream world that his game was the most downloaded game of the Switch last year. And
it was way up there on the Steam charts for a while too.
Yeah, it was really popular on Steam, PS4, and Xbox One when it first came out. And like I said, the Switch has turned it into even more popularity.
Well, I'll get it. I'll be the judge of how soul-sucking it is.
Yeah, definitely. So, what games have you been playing lately? Oh, actually, I think you've got an important update before we get into games.
I do. I have an important announcement that's going to affect everybody's lives. I am no longer a peasant who cannot experience the fruits of the PC Master Race, as I have joined the PC Master Race now and forever. I've put together a rather shitty gaming PC, but it works, and I can play pretty much every game above 60 frames, most games in the 80 frames range, and it's pretty cool, man. I get to, see what all y'all snobs have been putting in my face. It's pretty nice.
Yep, and the first game you played was Minecraft, right?
Well, cool. I mean, you gotta. I mean, that's like the new Crisis, right? Like, does it run Minecraft?
Yeah. How high can your Java threads get jacked up?
Actually, I haven't. I should probably try and put it on there because it is a piece of a processor. It would probably destroy it, but no, I haven't done that. The first thing I played was PUBG. I never really got to play it. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos and dreamed and lusted after it and couldn't have it. And so that's literally the first thing I did was I didn't even try any other games. I went on to Steam and I gave them my money and I installed that shit and I played it. That was the first game I ever played on my gaming PC.
And what have your thoughts been on PUBG these past couple weeks?
So initially, really good. Hard, frustratingly hard.
Yeah.
Anger, throwing things, replacing keyboards, shit like that. Then the new maps came out. The new map came out, and I kind of prefer it, and I think only because I've had better luck on that map versus the first map. It's more of like a desert thing as opposed to like a countryside and like jungle kind of, not jungle, but like forest type thing. So there's a lot of open spaces, so a lot of people hate it for that. I've had my best results. I think the top I've done was second place with like 4 kills, I believe. I sent you a screenshot.
Yeah.
But I haven't played it recently because they've opened this shit up in China, and it's somewhere around 50-60% of players are from China, and they're cheating to the point where Blue Hole or PUBG Corporation, whoever it was, they kicked and banned 100,000 users last week.
Holy shit.
That's a pretty rampant cheating problem.
Yeah, that really is.
I've been the victim of it, and unfortunately, they have death cams now, which is cool, and that's how people are getting caught finally. I suspect that most of the times that I got hit by cheaters was before that, and I couldn't review it, so it wasn't really worth reporting. I'm waiting for it to happen to me now with the death cam, but it hasn't yet. But I haven't been on it very much because it's kind of disheartening. And like you can't even, I was telling you earlier, Matt, you can't even have your voice chat on because it's just like a bunch of dudes from China that are, they're Google translating how to say the most offensive things about your mother.
Oh, jeez.
The 12-year-old in me appreciates.
I gotta hand it to them. I need to I need to do that. I haven't played the game in a while, but I need to just go into the lobby and put on voice chat and just hear a whole bunch of 12-year-old Chinese people say they fucked my mom or some shit.
Oh no, they're full-grown men. They think it's hilarious, and it's just a mess. Like there is no like being serious with somebody on there. Like even you'll get a squad. Like if you play squads, and like they just don't stop the whole time, and they're not even talking about you necessarily. They just don't stop, and it's just it's becoming a complete shit show, and it's really depressing because I waited so long to get a gaming PC. Pretty much for that game, and it's like kind of ruined,
Yeah, that's pretty shit.
So I don't know. That's kind of all I can really say. Most people are well aware of PUBG, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. But it is fun. It is cool. I've gotten pretty decent at it. I mean, by decent, I mean like I've never won. So there's that.
I've never won either.
Anything important?
I've gotten as far as you have. I've gotten to second place. And of course, it was one of those, it was me and one other guy, and I had no idea where the other guy was, and the circle was getting smaller and smaller. And then all of a sudden, boom, dead. I'm like, what? Where the fuck was he?
Pretty much what happened to me. Pretty much identically what happened to me, too. What else? Let's see. Oh, Fortnite, so we can keep the Battle Royale shit going. I have actually been pretty actively playing Fortnite. I actually started playing it before my gaming PC was up because I really just had that itch to play a Battle Royale game.
Yeah. And
I could get that on the consoles. I actually have, most of my playing has been on the Xbone. But it actually, for such a simple game, it's kind of sad, but it actually runs a lot better on the PlayStation. There's not frame rate issues, but there certainly is texture loading, like texture map loading issues. There's things are fuzzier looking on the Xbox, and I'm actually playing it on a 4K TV on Xbox and on a 1080 TV on the PlayStation, and the PlayStation is a little nicer. I have it on the PC as well. My PC Master Race, of course, wipes its ass with that game. It's pegged at the preset 60 frames. That game is only allowed to run at 60 frames, and my video card laughs at it. That's obviously the best way to play that game.
I still need to
I put a
download
lot of
that.
time into it. Go ahead.
I still need to download that game. I'll do it one day.
Yeah, I don't know how or why you haven't. You really should, man. We should get on that. It's fun.
It's a whole
really
big
cool.
thing to do it.
What's that?
It's a whole big thing, you know, having to click
You have to,
download.
like, do stuff. Yeah, I know.
I'm not into that life. I'm not into that lifestyle right now.
You can literally do what I did and just tell it on your PlayStation app on your phone to download it. Like, it's not even hard. Like, I think I did it at work.
Oh, that's true. You're right. I should do that.
Like, you don't even have to fire your PlayStation up to do it. But no, it's really cool. I was lucky enough, a buddy of mine, EJ, him and two of his roommates, they play Fortnite. And they've adopted me into their squad here and there when they have an opening. And I've probably played it about 4 times now on squads. We won once. It's the only time I've won Fortnite or any battle royale game. We did win, and all of us were still alive. That was pretty sweet. We got a little Mary Poppins umbrella glider for it, so look out.
Wait, a little Mary Poppins what?
All right, so you know how like PUBG you parachute in?
Yeah.
All right, so very similar. So PUBG, you come in on like a C-17 or something. I don't know, some military propeller drop plane. It's very realistic, very army. On Fortnite, you are in a school bus that's painted a psychedelic color and it has a balloon on it, and you jump in from that. And then instead of a parachute, you have a glider, but same fucking principle, you know.
Okay.
Same exact principle. There's no benefit to if you have a different glider. Like I said, I got an umbrella. It's a metal umbrella, so I don't know how it works because you just sink, but it doesn't give you an advantage. It surely looks, you know.
So just cosmetics then.
Cosmetics, yeah, it's just like PUBG. There is no like buying anything to give you an advantage. It's all cosmetics. So anything you unlock or you buy with real money is 100% cosmetic.
Okay. Interesting.
The difference between the two is PUBG's map is much, much larger. So they have vehicles in PUBG. Fortnite, although it's a good sized map, I wouldn't say it's small by any means, but there are no vehicles, and you know it would kind of ruin the game if there were. You can really get to where you need to go on foot if you have to. So there's none of that, but they have this really cool building element to it, which is pretty sweet. Like you use it defensively, essentially. You'll use it to sort of block bullets or to kind of barricade yourself in or make yourself some type of barricade or something like that. Or you can use it sort of offensively to build up to things to get better items that you have a hard time getting to or reaching or things like that. So it changes it up quite a bit, you know. It adds a different element to it, and it's fun. You know, I think they both have their place, PUBG and Fortnite. They really do.
Okay, interesting. Like I said, I'll check it out one day.
Yeah, dude, install that shit so we can play, man.
I will. I'll get to it.
But yeah, what else? I played Wolfenstein, just like you. Although I did play it on the PC, Master Race. Yeah, I guess because it's from 2014, my 1060 video card didn't pick up at it at all. Like it played everything max settings, and it never even really breathed heavy. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, Wolfenstein is good. I didn't play the second one. I know you did, Matt, and you think that the first one is better. Is that right?
I feel like the gameplay in the second one is better, but the story in the first one was better.
Okay, all right, makes sense. one of them's a little newer, more advanced. The game got hard later on. Like I think the bridge level was the first one that really gave me trouble.
Yeah, the one that's the one right at that's the one right before the moon.
Yeah, right before the moon. It really ramped it up. I had a lot of frustration at that point, but I did not turn it down. I never felt the need to. So again, Matt, I will concede you're a bit better at most video games than I am. So if you turned it down on console, for sure. But it's a great game. It's Wolfenstein. It's you're shooting Nazis.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's great. If you want to change from a sandbox game, which is like what everything is nowadays, it's kind of cool. It's very linear, but yet there's still areas to explore. There's nooks and crannies to find. There are alternate paths you can take through most areas.
Yeah.
Which was cool. I found it kind of nice to know the direction I needed to go and why and when. It was. I don't know. I enjoyed it, Matt. It was a fun game. I think I beat it in like 12 or 13 hours. It's not a very long game, but it's pretty great, and you can get it for dirt cheap no matter what system you pick it up for. So I'd recommend it absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. No, I had overall fun with the game. It was good. It was just I'll probably go back and play it maybe a couple years from now just to do the other timeline, the Wyatt timeline, or whoever I chose. I chose the Scottish guy.
It's so funny that we both so Matt asks me because there's a point where you have to choose sort of which direction you're going to go in the game, and it's based on one of the characters, one or the other of the characters. And Matt asked me, he's like, "Oh, which one did you pick?" And I was like, "I forget the Scottish dude's name, but I said it or whatever." And Matt's like, "Yeah." It was just so funny. We were in the same place. Like, screw that young ass kid. Like, we're keeping Scott.
Well, no, he was just a whiny little bitch, and I'm like, no, I don't want him.
He really was. And the Scott guy seemed like he knew a lot of shit, so I'm like, no, this guy's gonna be more valuable. So both of us were like, screw the young kid with his life in front of him. We're taking the old dude.
Yeah, I think the only thing it affects is the different upgrades you get on that laser gun. Because I know
that might, yeah.
Because I noticed in Wolfenstein 2, I guess this is spoilers or something, is you have to choose again who you saved in the first game, and you also see what different the different laser upgrades you get between choosing, Wyatt or the stupid kid.
I see. Okay. All right.
So that's my only guess, though.
Game that the replay wouldn't be painful,
Yeah. Yeah. No, but
what else? I got a couple other things I was playing. I did sink a bunch of time into this game, Matt. You talked about soul sucking. This game absolutely has the potential to be soul sucking, just like Stardew Valley for you. Is City Skylines. That's another one. That was another forbidden fruit for me that you can only play on PC. So I made sure to gobble that up. I got it during Steam sale. I got it for like $7 or $8, which is pretty cool. But City Skylines is it's like a SimCity. Is the best way that I can really say to compare it or match it up to. A little more advanced. No silly shit like you don't have monsters coming fucking up your town and shit like that.
Yeah.
But really good, really fun. I've got somewhere around 30 hours sunk into it. And I did kind of burn out a little bit on it, Matt. And I think because I started playing Mario and I started playing Fortnite, there just wasn't enough room for me to jump in on that right now. But it's cool, and if you like that type of stuff, it's really good, really, really good. The requirements aren't very high to play it. It's just I didn't have the right Intel integrated graphics on my shitty other PC that I had, so I couldn't play it. But you don't need a strong PC to play it at all. So I don't know. Check it out if anybody wants a good SimCity. Totally doable.
No, I'll probably check it out. Maybe in the next Steam sale or something. Have to check it out there.
Yeah, because it's like $30 normally. I can't see spending $30 on it. That's kind of extreme.
Oh, okay. How much did you spend on it, you said?
Well, I did the deluxe, so I got it for it was like the core game was like $8, I think, and then the deluxe
yeah.
price, it was like a little over 10. So I got it for 66% off.
Okay. Okay, cool.
And that game tries to F you too, man. There are so many like expansions and DLCs and shit for it.
Oh, just like The Sims.
Go ahead.
No, just like The Sims.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's perfect. Yes, it's just like that. There's on the flip side though, there is a shitload of mods that you can download for free, and a lot of people do a lot of that. So I haven't really messed with that, but that's a thing. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, if you ever want a good SimCity, Matt, and it's on sale or whatever, grab it. Worth it, definitely. Last game that I've been playing recently that I can think of at least, or that's worth noticing, and Matt, this is really, really good, this game. Do you know anything about this?
The Inside?
Inside, it's called, yeah.
Yeah, never heard of it.
Okay, so I think I heard about it on they were like on the VGO podcast, the Video Game Outsiders. I think a while back they were talking about playing it or something and how good it was. And I didn't really give a shit because I'm not into mobile gaming. I haven't been for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know how or why, but I saw quick gameplay of it. I'm like, that is pretty cool. So I went ahead and they let you play like a good 10 minutes of it for free.
Yeah.
So I did it, and I was like, "Yep, take my money." So I gave him like this $4 or whatever it was, $6 to buy it, and played it all the way through. And it's so good that even my son Aiden wanted it. I bought it for him, and he played it and beat it all the way through. It is, phone games have a lot to learn from this. It's visually beautiful, and it's all dark too. So normally games that are dark are shitty,
yeah,
and you can't see nothing. This is very artistic. It's very cool. The lighting is very fucking cool, especially on a cell phone. It's a platformer, but they don't overly do it with the controls, and they don't make it where you're like it's an endless runner or anything by any means like that. I don't know. Check it out. I don't want to spoil it because I don't want to say too much about it. But if you want something, a platformer that feels quality and feels modern, on your phone, and that a touchscreen doesn't ruin the experience, Inside is fucking phenomenal, and you can try it for free. It's not like a fucking ad, but you can.
No.
and get the experience. So, I highly recommend that to everybody. I was pretty blown away by it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be a mobile gaming mark, go ahead, but I don't live that life.
No, you need to play that stupid egg game I was addicted to for 6 months.
Oh my god, the fucking tap game where you fucking
yes.
tap and make eggs.
Oh my god, it was, dude. Okay, you know how picky I am with mobile games. It's very hard for me to even like any kind of mobile gaming. All right. When I downloaded that egg game, I was so addicted to it. Okay, so the basic premise of this stupid egg game is you have an egg farm.
Stupid.
You have an egg farm, and you create chickens to lay more eggs, and you have to upgrade your hen houses, and you upgrade your eggs to get you more money, and you have to upgrade your trucks in order to ship your eggs out. And then you can, once you make enough money, you get to upgrade your egg to like a food. It starts off as a food egg, and then you can upgrade your egg to like a medical egg where it cures cancer and all that shit. Eventually, your eggs can learn to, work time travel and all that shit, and gravity and defy gravity and all that, and it's just so fucking good.
How much? Well, first of all, what's the money called, and how much of it do you have in that game?
Well, it depends on what egg I'm currently building. The last time I played, I had so when it goes up to 10, it's decillion, and then it goes to undecillion, and then so I think the last I had was duodecillion, like $12 duodecillion, which is 12 duodecillion is 12 million millions.
So, or the United States black budget, same thing, interchangeable.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
But it's such a stupid little game. It's so addictive.
I watched you play it, and I watched you just sit there and mindlessly tap. And although the aspect of upgrading things and building shit and having something to do on my phone, and when you told me how much money you had, really kind of intrigued me. But I couldn't, man. I don't know. I don't know if anybody in the chat's played it, chime in, or if anybody wants to get at us after the podcast, let me know, because I can't see it.
It's so dumb, but yeah, it's dumb.
Well, there you go. So now we're talking about mobile gaming. So we've reached an all new low.
You know, we can talk about for a little bit. It's another type of gaming that I've been doing a lot lately, and that's board gaming. I've been board gaming like a motherfucker lately, actually.
Yeah, you have.
So over Christmas, we got the Monopoly Gamer Edition, which is basically Mario Monopoly. And so one of the things I like about it, and you have to get this game, Butler, because your kid and wife will actually really enjoy it. One, it doesn't take 5 hours to play a single game of Monopoly. It takes at most an hour to play, and you're done.
So explain. You told me before, but explain to me again. How is that possible? Like what changes that causes that to happen? Because Monopoly going on for 3 weeks and like people not speaking to each other, sleeping in separate rooms and shit is just it's not feasible always.
So there is an end to this game. So basically, it has the basic Monopoly rules. You can buy properties, and you have a sort of a chance card or a community chest card, but instead of a community chest, it's a superstar power. And each character you play as has a different superstar power, whether that is you get more coins, or you steal coins, or you steal properties, or stuff like that. And so it's kind of like a mix of Monopoly and Mario Party.
Okay.
So basically, every time you buy a property, you get points. And, the low-end properties are worth like 10 to 20 points. The high-end properties that are like Boardwalk are worth 50 points. And every time you pass go, there is a boss battle. You're fighting one of the Koopa kids, like Larry Koopa, Morton Koopa, and all that. And the way you fight the Koopa kids is you have to pay a certain amount of money to be able to fight them, and you have to roll a dice like 3 or higher, or 4 or higher, and etc. in order to beat the boss. And when you beat the boss, you not only get the points of the boss, but you also, something will happen, whether you win more money, or you steal a property, or you send someone to jail when you beat the boss. So there's 7 Koopa kids, and then you fight Bowser at the end. When you fight Bowser at the end, that whoever beats Bowser, that's the end of the game at that point.
So it's a race to get to Bowser then, essentially.
In a sense, because we've had some games where we had all the properties bought on the Monopoly board, and we still hadn't even come close to beating or getting to Bowser yet, because we were just all rolling really bad.
Damn.
But it's a really fun game, and you start off with when you buy the game, you have 4 characters: Mario, Princess, Donkey Kong, and Yoshi. And if you go to GameStop, you can actually buy up to 8 more characters for the game, and they're only like $4 each. I went to GameStop this weekend and I bought 7 of them. I was missing one of them. They didn't have it at the store. And
would that be ISC instead of DLC, like in-store content?
Yeah, in-store content, I guess. But I mean, it's actually worth it getting those characters, because it changes the way you play the game as well too.
True.
It adds more content to it, and it's so much fun. My kids fucking love the game, man. It's like I said, it's quick, it's easy, and it's just a really fun time.
Yeah, you really talked me into it. Never mind the fact that we literally have 4 versions of Monopoly at home. I mean, what's a 5th?
But it's not like a normal Monopoly game, though. That's the thing.
No, I know. It's different. It's a play on it. It sounds awesome, and shortening it up, honestly, I'm all for. Like, that needed to be done a long time ago, if we're honest.
Oh, yeah. And then we got another game called Exploding Kittens, which is sort of... I guess the best way to describe Exploding Kittens is it's sort of like Uno, in a sense. So basically you have like a deck of 40 cards. And in that deck of 40 cards, if you have 4 players, there's going to be 3 exploding kittens. And, as soon as you draw an exploding kitten, you lose the game. But you have cards they call diffuse cards that allows you to diffuse the bomb, so to say, and you can you can put the exploding kitten back anywhere on the draw deck. So you can put it back on top if you want to screw over the next player.
Are there cleverly drawn animations
yes.
of all these things going on these cards?
Yes, and they were extremely funny. My kids could not stop laughing at
Excellent.
one playing it, and they freaking loved it. And it's nothing dirty or anything. It's
right.
It's all stupid fart humor, pretty much.
Hey, perfect.
So it's and there's other cards that allow you to skip your draw turn or force someone to draw 2 times. Stuff like that, and it's just a really fun, quick game. We played it 2 times yesterday, and it took maybe 20 minutes each time we played, which is not long at all. So it's a pretty quick card game.
That's awesome, and then you can have a few games, if you wanted to, in a session or in an hour, and do a best 2 out of 3 or something like that.
Yeah, Efren 3G just said it's the artist from the Oatmeal webcomic. I don't know if you ever read that before.
I do, yeah. I haven't read it. I'm well aware of it. I've seen quite a bit of it. I haven't, actively read it, but yes. Okay. All right. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's
celebrity art, if you will, almost.
Yeah, and then the last board game that we got is Settlers of Catan. And I have been dying to get that game and play it.
Yeah, you've been talking about that one for quite a bit. How much have you really gotten to play it?
Well, we only got to play it once because it is a little bit involved in setting it up and everything. And It was, while the oldest, Jazzy, was pretty bored by the game, she liked the game for its strategic aspect of it. Strategery aspect of it.
Right.
It was just it took us over an hour to finally play the game and get it done, and plus we were all really tired. It was almost midnight by the time we got done playing. And it was just a lot of fun, and I can't wait to play it again. And now that we understand the way you play the game, it's just it was really good. I need to bring that over, and you and I can play. Well, or maybe you, me, and your wife, or my wife can play, or something.
Yeah. Let's do something like that, and then GoldenEye.
Yes, that'd be really fun.
The last time we ended up playing Streets of Rage, which you had never played. That was pretty dope.
We almost beat it. That freaking last level kicked our asses.
We could totally do it this time around, though.
Oh yeah. But no, that's been pretty much it for board games. I'm now kind of addicted to wanting more board games now, but my wife has told me to slow down and let's enjoy the ones we have right now. And I'm like, no, why would I listen to you?
That's not how this works, crazy lady.
Yeah. And Efren 3G also said Catan is the gateway drug of designer board games, and I can see why.
Designer board games? What does he mean by that? Is it super fancy and well crafted?
Yeah, there are some board games out there that are so in-depth and crazy that, oh, dude, I can't even begin to describe even what their names are, but some board games can take literally all day to play, and you're not even done with it.
That's kind of cool, though. That seems to be a thing, I noticed, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they did, this thing where you could be immortalized and drawn into South Park. I don't know if you saw that or whatever.
No, I haven't seen that.
All right, so yeah, it was just, some sweepstakes thing they were doing, but they were join us in our whatever room where we're playing board games and we should be working or whatever, and they had a shitload of board games, so it doesn't seem to be a thing I'm noticing. A lot of people are really jumping into these, and it's not that they're jumping into old shit. There's new stuff coming out like this, the game you're just talking about, and I think that's pretty rad, man. It's kind of coming back around.
Dude, I love that they're coming back around.
What do we have when we were kids? Fucking Mousetrap and Life, same as they ever were.
Oh, dude. Oh, dude, the board game I probably played the most as a kid would probably be chess. I played that so much.
But again, same as it ever was. Where's the new shit? Nothing wrong. I love chess, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I played a game called Stratego back in the day. Did you ever play that?
Yeah, I played that too. Oh, another really good game that I remember playing as a kid was was it Allies and Axis or Axis and Allies?
Axis and Allies.
Yeah.
I played that.
It was like Risk, but on steroids.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a good game. Shit.
Dude, that was a game that could take forever to like play and beat.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. Fuck yeah, days. I played for days with a buddy of mine, my buddy Sean, and we never finished it.
Dude, there was another board game that when I looked at the price of it, it's way too expensive now. It's like $300. It's very similar to Risk and Axis and Allies, but it's called Shogun, and it's basically you pick an army of samurais and you try to basically take over Japan in the samurai era.
That's pretty rad.
It was really fucking cool, and the little pieces that came with it were little samurai guys, and I fucking loved it. I actually ended up using those samurai guys.
Like, you ever think about like the whole like the what do you call it, the romance that we have with like samurai or any of that type of idea, but like in reality, like that was like probably some seriously like dark, brutal fucking shit.
Well, yeah.
Like we fantasize and romanticize about it, Like,
oh yeah, I definitely romanticize knights and samurai and all that, but then when you start to really learn about the history of them, they're all fucking assholes.
They really are, like crazy assholes, like real bad.
I mean, yeah, of course there were honorable knights and samurai and all that they talk about in tales and legends, but in reality, they were probably all just complete assholes.
Just drunken, angry, power-hungry assholes.
Oh my god, yeah. And ninjas, too. That was something that we always fantasized about as well, too.
I heard that's not real. That's not a thing.
Well, what do you mean, it's not a thing?
Ninjutsu and all that, like, that's not real. Like, it wasn't back then.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a thing back then, but ninjas were real. It's just not the ninjas we think about. I mean...
So, like, Tom Tom? Like Tom Tom's not real? Is that what you're trying to say?
Wait, Tom Tom? Wait, what's that?
From the Three Ninjas, the movie.
Oh! Oh, God. Talk about a throwback, but, no, it's just that ninjas were just basically, they were assassins, pretty much, but they didn't dress up all in black and, go scale walls and kill people. I mean, I'm sure that happened, but,
I mean, throwing stars were real, but, I mean, did ninjas use them? I don't know.
And see, that's the thing that always gets me, like, playing Assassin's Creed and all that, you know how you have to, like, stay hidden and all that, you don't want to draw yourself attention? Why wear the fucking worst thing that will make you stand out in a crowd?
Well,
you ever notice that? What?
First of all, the way he's dressed
makes
him stand out like fucking, like, I'd be like, even back then, you'd be like, look at this fucking creep.
Yeah. Yeah, like real ninjas and assassins back especially in those days, they wore everyday clothes because you wanted to blend in.
Be differentiated, hide in plain sight. That's real ninja shit right there.
Yeah.
You know what else was real? Is how bad I wanted to have fucking red light in my room to warn me when mom was coming to the room.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And, shit! I'm pretty sure ninjas had that shit because Three Ninjas had it, and I wanted it really bad.
Dude, I wanted the fighting dummy they had so bad too. Actually,
that thing was fucking cool, man.
I wish I had a grandpa like they had too, with a really awesome property that he had.
The legit ninja training facility disguised as like a fucking
God. Dude, you're gonna make me go back and watch that movie now, because
Oh my god, don't. Oh my god, don't.
No?
It's so bad. It's so fucking bad. Like,
oh,
I don't
come
know,
on.
That should be on How Did This Get Made podcast, dude. It's so fucking
It can't be as bad as I remember. It couldn't have been that bad.
Dude, it makes Mighty Ducks look like some fucking Tarantino shit, bro. Like, it's
God.
bad. It's bad. Yeah.
I'm gonna go back and watch it. Do it
and report back, dude. It's fucking the worst.
Oh god. It can't be as bad as Street Fighter.
It's no, it is. It's probably worse.
Well, Street Fighter was. I just watched that recently. That was really bad.
Fucking wretched. But I mean, at least Jean-Claude Van Damme was in it.
Yeah, he was in it, but he barely fought. He only fought like once? And then Chun-Li was the one who I think fought the most in that movie.
She was alright. The fighting was alright.
Well, I mean, the fighting was terrible, but it was... Oh, God.
Well, let me tell you the one-up that Street Fighter has over fucking Three Ninjas. Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's all I gotta say. He's not in it a lot, but they didn't even have that, so it's pretty bad.
No, I will tell you what the Three Ninjas has over Street Fighter. The bus driver from Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, true.
I forget his name.
God damn. Yeah.
Now, you talk about a freaking movie that was badass as shit, Big Trouble in Little China. I love that. That movie is still good to this day.
Much more watchable than anything we were just talking about in the past fucking 3 minutes. Yeah.
And absolutely. I am so disappointed they're remaking that movie, and The Rock is going to be Kurt Russell's character.
The Rock's in everything, dude. I mean, look at Jumanji, dude. He's in that shit. Like, who asked for that?
No one did, but they made it anyway, which I've heard the Jumanji movie wasn't too bad.
Dude, it's like they made a fucking joke out of it. It's like all kinds of comic relief between him and fucking
Jack Black.
Short dude, what's his name? Kevin Hart.
Yeah, Kevin Hart.
Like, it's just like the first Jumanji. I mean, it had a couple of cute aha moments, but I mean, that was a serious fucking movie, man. You know, like, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it, dude. I'm not super stoked about the fucking new one at all.
Yeah, you know how they can ruin the new Big Trouble in Little China? They can ruin it if they make The Rock. If they made The Rock's character a hero in the movie. Because it
probably will happen. I think it's a clause in The Rock's contract that he has to ultimately become good. Because even when he used to be the villain in the Fast and the Furious movies when they came back, and now he's good.
No, it's not that Kurt Russell's character was bad or anything. It's just that he wasn't the hero of the story. It was his Asian buddy. I can't remember his name right now. But when you really watch,
yeah, you're right.
When you really watch Big Trouble in Little China, Kurt Russell doesn't really do much. He doesn't even save the day. he continually fucks up.
Kurt fucking Russell, man, dude, fucking Snake Plissken, bro. That's all I see. That's all I can hear. Fucking Snake Plissken.
Yeah. Freaking.
There's some movies that fucking
Escape from LA and Escape from those movies did not age well. They're pretty bad.
New York is probably the best one.
Yeah. If I had to choose, I'd rather watch New York than LA.
Fucking the land in the glider on top of the World Trade Centers and shit, dude. That shit was crazy.
Oh man, God. Yeah, those movies did not age well either.
Let's see. So, real quick, board games. I mean, I haven't played it recently, but I do have. Why can I never think of it? But you can tell me what it is. Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah.
We've played that a couple times. It's pretty good. We picked up a couple expansions. Check it out. You don't know what it is. I'm not going to go into it. Movies, Matt. Movies. Let's do it. My two movies we both saw together. So you want to talk about the two that you had first, and then we'll go into those?
Sure. So I've been watching some movies recently, and I have the first one I saw was Ingrid Goes West. It stars Aubrey Plaza from Parks and Rec, and she plays she plays Chris Pratt's wife or girlfriend or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's the hot one that just hates everybody.
Excellent freaking character, by the way.
Yeah, so in Ingrid Goes West, she plays a stalker who finds someone she likes on Instagram and stalks them, like, insanely. Like,
oh, God.
And so that's pretty much all I'm going to say about the movie, because you need to really go watch it. It was a really well-done movie that just kept you wanting to keep watching, and you never got bored in it. Oh, fuck. Is it Ice Cube's son is actually in the movie, and he was actually really, really good in this movie.
Ice Cube got money to send that kid to acting school. Come on.
Oh yeah, no, and he actually really held his own in this movie too. It was really well done. But overall, it was very enjoyable. It was one of those that kind of made you feel very uneasy at times when she was in full hardcore stalking mode, and it really kind of sends a message to us as a society of how obsessive we get when we follow people on not just Instagram but social media, where people will look up to certain people who may not even be celebrities or anything, but because they have, hundreds of thousands of followers, you look up to them. And that's pretty much what this is about, where she follows someone who's not famous per se in the traditional sense that we're used to, but she's Instagram famous, and so she ends up stalking this lady.
That's trip, man, and it's so timely too,
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty cool. I wonder how that's going to fare down the line. Like, kids are going to watch that, teenagers down the line, so you can see it on TV or something and go, what the fuck is Instagram?
Well, I mean, yeah, just like kids will be like, what the fuck is MySpace?
Yeah, well, they do that now. They don't know that shit.
I know, they don't know that life, that MySpace life.
Ain't that fucking crazy. Oh, that's a fucking trip. Hey, so if we're going to be talking about movies and shit, should we implement like a ratings thing? Like a 1 to 5, what would you give it? Like, we could do like yellow Super Nintendos.
Yeah, we can do how many yellow Super Nintendos would I give this?
There you go, out of 5. Yeah, how many would you give it?
I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5 yellow Super Nintendos.
All right, so you go to the flea market and buy 3 yellow Super Nintendos.
You know what? Next time I'll put a little graphic on the screen for the stream to put the little Super Nintendos or whatever.
Dude, oh my god, do it! Hell yeah.
I'll do it. I'll work on that this week. So yeah, I'd give it about 3 out of 5 yellow Super Nintendo. So the other movie that I watched was I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore, and this was a little bit more of a weird movie. It starred
It sounds depressing as fuck. Like initial.
Yeah. The title sounds depressing as fuck. But it's really not. It's more weird than anything. So it's about this lady who her house gets robbed, and her computer gets stolen, and her grandmother's silverware gets stolen, and it's like priceless silverware that, you can't find it anywhere and all that stuff. And so she, basically goes to the cops, and the cops don't give a fuck or anything, so she takes justice into her own hands and finds Elijah Wood as her next door neighbor to help her out. And it's
Elijah Wood, huh? Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's just like a series of adventures that, how they go about trying to find the silverware and all that. And then it turns really, really dark in the last 30 minutes of the movie, where you think it's just going to be about these two people doing some vigilante justice. Then it just goes straight dark, and it almost turns into like this horror movie in a sense in the last 30 minutes. And
whoa,
and
nice twist there.
Well, not a horror movie, but more of a thriller, I should say. And it gets pretty graphic too. And
that's freaking crazy. And like, is it really out of place for like the rest of the movie, or do they transition to it well, or is it like totally like startle you and like take you like to a whole different place?
It transitions to it, but the graphicness does kind of startle or surprise you, especially when there's a lot of vomit involved too.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm not about that vomit life. It's.
You sure you didn't accidentally get like a snuff film or something?
No. This is not snuff at all. Trust me.
Okay. All right.
But it was a decent movie. I'd probably give it the same as Ingrid Goes West, 3 out of 5 yellow SNESes.
Okay.
And
so, where did you watch these? What platform? Or are these like movie theater movies? Like, where did you see these?
Ingrid Goes West I found on the side of the road, and I don't feel it.
Use that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, the side of the road.
I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore is actually on Netflix. It's a Netflix movie.
Oh shit! Well, I was gonna say I was gonna go watch it, but since my phone's dying, dude, what am I gonna do? By the way, there's no power still, and my phone's dying as we talk. Like, what am I gonna do?
Well,
Okay.
I may have to finish this up as a single, solo podcast if that's the case.
No, I think we can make it to the end of the podcast, but I guess I'm just gonna play. I'm gonna play my Switch, I guess, until the battery's die.
Yeah, true. So, before we get into your movies, I just want to talk about probably my second favorite movie of last year, and that's the Disaster Artist. And
why was that on the notes, dude? What the fuck? You love that movie?
Yeah, it's on the notes. You put it there.
Oh, I guess I didn't see it. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Carry on.
No,
oh yeah, there it is.
So I was so pumped to see this movie, and because of this movie, I finally decided to sit down and watch The Room, and I've watched it probably 5 times now, The Room.
So real quick, because I've been talking to a lot of people about wanting to see this, and a lot of people are really out of the loop. Give like a quick little background on it as to what it's about, because a shocking amount of people really actually aren't super in tune with it, and they weren't going to see it because they didn't understand.
Yeah. So The Disaster Artist is about Tommy Wiseau. Tommy Wiseau is created and produced and directed what people consider the Citizen Kane of terrible movies. And while the movie itself is a bad movie, a lot of people like to claim The Room is the worst movie ever made. No, it's not. I've seen movies that are much worse than The Room. But, I mean, the movie is...
Three Ninjas.
I mean, the movie is bad. Don't get me wrong. It's just not the worst movie you've ever seen. But it's very bad and bizarre. And so The Disaster Artist is about Tommy Wiseau meets probably his best friend, Greg Sestero, and who Greg is played by James Franco's brother, Dave Franco. And this is the first time they've been in a movie together. And there were at times where I was watching James Franco play Tommy Wiseau, and I forgot it was James Franco.
Well, I've seen some interviews and shit with Franco and Wiseau, and like literally, and I think you were the one that told me this originally, but like Franco would talk to Wiseau as in character as Wiseau.
Yeah, and
that's a fucking trip.
It is. It was a really good movie. And it was actually really touching. And now there's a part of the movie that I want to talk about that it really hit home for me, and especially for something that we're doing right now. So I guess this is a bit of a spoiler. Not really. But so when near the end of The Disaster Artist, Tommy finally showcases the movie. He has what he calls a real Hollywood premiere. Hi, Mark. Yeah, he has a real Hollywood premiere, and so he has a whole theater watching his movie, and they're all laughing at it, and Tommy in his mind was trying to make a serious movie, and he storms out of the theater, and Greg, his best friend, tries to go comfort him, and Tommy just gives a little speech about how he tried so hard to make a movie that, he wanted everybody to like and love and take seriously, and that everybody's just basically laughing at him and just making fun of him. And, that part really hit home for me because, with us doing podcasting and not saying that you and I are going to make something of ourselves in content creation world, but, we want people to essentially like what we do, and there's so many times, especially with doing Magic with Zuby for so long, that it feels like you're talking in the void and no one is listening. And you
mean how like when we ask for feedback and then like nobody says anything?
Yeah. And
okay, go on.
No, but you know what I mean, where it's like
I do.
You try really hard to want to do something and have people like it, only for people to either never see it or never give feedback or never even say they like it or even hate it, I mean, at least if someone says, hey, they hate what you do, that means, hey, someone watched it,
Yeah, and then you can use that age-old comeback. Bitch, I know somebody who like it.
But no, but that was a part of the movie that really spoke to me because it's, it for anybody that gets into content creation like we do, for us to say, oh, you'll never care if people listen to your stuff. I mean, that's kind of a lie. You start doing stuff like this because you want someone to listen to it and like it or something.
No, because otherwise it's just us talking, and we do that shit every day.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be putting it on the internet.
True.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, very
For
true.
sure.
So, yeah, I gotta say that's probably my second favorite movie I've seen last year, and what was the coolest part about it was when I went to go see it in theater, I was literally the only person in the theater watching it.
That's so weird to me because I really think that, I think that they got nominated for some shit. I think Franco actually won an award.
Yeah, he won a Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Comedy.
Right. Now, it's crazy, though, and I really do think there's some kind of disconnect. I think that they should have marketed it a little harder, but, it's a real gamble on a movie like that, and I understand why they didn't. But I think it's going to be a big cult classic. I think it's going to have a really big second life.
Well, I think a lot of the big reason why it didn't do so well is because it came out a week before Star Wars.
Yeah, true. Star Wars fucking eclipsed everything.
Oh my god,
big surprise.
Yeah. But so let's talk about the movies that you've seen recently.
All right, so I'm gonna be honest. I've talked about. We should have put it on here, but I feel like we should probably talk about it. I'm sure everybody's kind of done hearing about it, but Star Wars.
Oh, what's that?
Yeah. Yeah. What is that shit? No. Matt and I, we were lucky enough. We got to go see it through work. Amazingly.
The day it came out.
Yeah. Because they, we had to listen to some spiel about some. We literally had a rep of a company try to tell us that $250,000 was next to nothing to purchase, equipment for our enterprise, and literally. That's
next to nothing for a real company.
Whatever word he used, but it was, it was kind of shocking. And then we proceeded to watch the new Star Wars movie on their dime. So that was kind of cool. Instead of being at work, we got to do that. But Star Wars Episode 8 is the Last Skywalker. Is that the working title?
I think it's called the last subversion of our expectations.
The last person from the original cast gets killed off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Oh God.
I liked it a lot more when we saw it. I wasn't super happy with it, but I did like it a lot more when we first saw it. Now I've had time to set in. I've had to listen to other people's opinions. And although I don't really base my opinion off other people's opinions, some important points were brought up, and I think, Matt, you even kind of swayed me a little bit. It's not so good. One of the main... oh my God, I think there's a raccoon in here. Oh my God.
Oh, shit, really?
Oh my God, it's an armadillo. I just
What?
Someone shit my pants. Oh my God, someone shit my pants. He came out from underneath my car.
No, you need to put this on FaceTime right now if my fucking phone would work. God damn it.
I can't. He's already fucking gone. Oh my God, it scared the shit out of me.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
I'm okay with armadillos. If it was a raccoon, they're brave as fuck around here, and you literally have to hit them with something, and they fight back.
Oh, shit.
That was an armadillo, but he scared the shit out of me.
That's crazy.
Florida, you guys. Florida. That's real. He's probably digging out my yard. Fuck, wait a minute. That's a problem.
Well, dude, it's raining outside and shit. You can't do anything about that.
I will fucking yell at an armadillo.
I mean, yeah, you can try.
I got a weed eater. It's gas powered, only electric. I'll scare him away.
Dude, you got a gun too. Just shoot it.
Whoa.
You got a shotgun too, don't you?
Easy. No, actually, I don't though. But
I thought you had a rifle.
I mean, look, I believe in the Second Amendment. All right, but we'll leave it there.
You have the right to bear arms. You have some bear arms.
That's not a popular opinion, but I will point out we live in Florida, and everybody here has guns. So if you don't, you don't want to be the one who doesn't.
And
like Texas.
If any of our viewers right now are watching or listeners listening and they aren't from Florida, it's not uncommon for like armadillos to walk up to you, and not uncommon for alligators to just show up in your yard one day.
It's true. It's dangerous here. It's like it's a swamp that we should have never moved into.
Pretty much.
You need shit to defend yourself from everything. Armadillos are gross though. They give you like fucking. I think they carry leprosy.
Oh God.
Ugh. Yeah, no, legit.
Ugh.
Like that's why you don't want like your dogs to get after them or anything. But anyway, so back to Star Wars. You and I, we looked at each other when it happened in the theater, and I can't get over it, and it ruined it. And it was her perfect chance to go as a hero, Carrie Poppins. No, thank you.
Dude, that scene, and I'll be honest, when we first watched that in the theater, you're right, it was the perfect way for her character to be sent off, and I was actually feeling really, really sad, because, hey, this is Princess Leia, the one that I grew up watching and all that, and then all of a sudden for her to open up her eyes and go Superman on us, we both looked at each other and just go, what the fuck is this shit? And it really gave me a sour outlook for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, Carrie Kent ruined it for me,
Carrie Kent.
yeah.
Oh man.
Because I'm like, oh, this is it. This is where she's, this is what they, this is a great way for her to go. She went out as a hero. It's over. Finger twitch. Oh no. Okay,
oh no. Oh no.
She's fucking flying.
Yeah.
So I just.
And when I went back and watched it the second time, that wasn't even the worst part of the movie for me. And I've gone back and told you that the Luke, Rey, and Kylo Ren parts were the best parts of the movie.
By far.
They really were. For everybody who, complains about Luke Skywalker being all different, yeah, the biggest complaint I have with Luke Skywalker is him just throwing away the lightsaber in the beginning. That just felt like a huge slap in the face to us fans. But I got over it,
I kind of... Yeah, I felt the same way at first, but to me. All right, so here's what I think, Matt, is that it's the only part of like the old Luke from the old movies that's left. Like whereas like it's not in the movie, in the spirit of the movie, it's not really comic relief. Like as far as he's more serious. Like he doesn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And he's throwing it away. But it was kind of comic relief ish, and it kind of had that kind of quirkiness that you would see in some of like the original trilogy. So I don't know. Like the more I think about it, the less I hate that part. But you're right; it was kind of shit because of what she went through to get it and everything. I mean, story-wise, it was kind of fucked. Like they could have accomplished that a different way, I guess. But
yeah, it felt the biggest thing that I hated about that was it just felt so on the nose, and it felt like perfect comedic timing with it. It's. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to get too deep into that part, but the worst parts of that movie was the casino planet with Finn and Rose, and
total fucking filler to have to do with a plot point to give them something to do.
Yes, it was basically it was prequel levels bad. That whole casino planet.
Yeah, but you're a prequel apologist, though, aren't you, Matt?
Oh, I would say yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm not afraid to admit it. I like the prequels. They're enjoyable to watch.
Fucking you and Jar Jar can hang out, but that's another conversation for another day. All right, quick question, kind of a nerdy question. And I actually don't think I've asked you about this. And I don't think it's too much of a spoiler because it honestly has nothing to do with the movie. But the X-wing in the water. Like they show it, under the water, sees it or whatever. How on a nerd, now it's nerdy talk here, it's a nerd level. How effed do you think that was by the salt water?
Oh,
or
completely.
Do you think because it's futuristic, fucking future metals, that it was totally fine and it would have fired right up? No,
I think it would have been completely fucked. I mean, even though we like to think this is futuristic technology. There's a lot of their technology that's still kind of shit.
Yeah, that's true, and it isn't like that wasn't like a TIE fighter down there. I mean, that was a rebel fucking shitbox.
Yeah,
if we're honest. So true.
No, I think that even if Luke was able to lift it up and try to repair it, it'd be fucked.
Just shit would be corroded and stuff and just done.
Well, you're a car guy. I mean, can cars survive?
But that's based on in the real world and on Earth, yeah, salt water destroys all eventually, and plant life and shit. But that could have been fresh water. In which case, they do have to be airtight in like the cabin area and the important things because they go into space. It's hard to say. I assume that's salt water. They don't tell us. It might not even been water. So, but I don't know. That's kind of why I wanted to open this up with you. Is kind of like, would that thing would have ran? I feel like showing it to us was kind of hinting at the fact that it might, but really all it was showing is how he got there. And it's like, well, no shit, he got there on a fucking spaceship of some sort. You know what I mean? Like, I was expecting to see that thing in action. So when I didn't, I'm kind of like, well, I wonder if it would even work.
Yeah, and the other biggest disappointment of that movie was they teased so hardcore that Rey and Ren would have joined up like right after Snoke died. Spoilers, I don't give a fuck. And that, they could have done something different with the story, right? And instead it goes and turns back into a simple good versus evil story. Now, you have to at least give the prequels some credit that they did deviate from the normal good versus evil story in terms of its plot. It wasn't always just good versus... There was a lot of political maneuvering about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about, when Carrie Poppins was unavailable and the kind of back and forth between, I mean, that wasn't so cut and dry on who was good or bad, and it was a little political, but I mean, all right, no, and I guess never mind. I'm sorry, I'm not thinking of fucking Kylo and his ass.
Yeah,
there was some drama there too.
But at the end of Episode 8, the rebels are not only worse off than they were in the beginning of the movie, but literally, in terms of the grand scheme of things, in Episode 8, nothing happened. When you think about it. Yeah, Rey got to meet Luke, and Luke saved, the rebels.
The rebels' numbers have seriously diminished.
They're non-existent. Yeah, that's what I mean. The numbers are, like you said, seriously diminished. But in terms of the grand scheme of the plot, nothing really happened. I mean, Kylo Ren is in charge of the First Order now, and that's probably about it. That's the only change that actually happened in the story. Finn and Rey are basically no different than they were. Rose, completely fucking useless. I actually was liking her character up until she tried to say Finn and say that stupid, cheesy, you gotta stop hating to whatever, you gotta save what you love. And then...
what's right in front of you or some bullshit or whatever.
Oh my god, I just wanted to... I literally wanted to puke.
It will make for an interesting drama between him and Rey.
Oh, no, it won't. Because they won't do any of that, because fuck them. Fuck you.
And Disney.
And also, what... I think one of the other parts that I hated the most in that movie was when Poe, at one point, when Luke stepped out to go fight, all the AT-ATs, and Poe Dameron was like, "We are the light that flames the fire of the hope of the galaxy with the whatever the fuck." I'm like, I was literally thinking to myself, kill me now, please. This is some cheesy... Okay, you thought the prequels were bad? No, that was prequels level of bad. I want to kill myself right now.
I agree. Look, I agree. It's not... I mean, I would rate Rogue One higher than it for sure. I think Rogue One is probably my favorite Disney era one. This is my least favorite, but I would also rank it... I can't put it below the prequels. I just don't like them. Maybe I need to rewatch them.
Revenge of the Sith is at least... I still think that's the best of the prequels.
Yeah, I guess. All right, hold on. So talking about prequels and the new movie, something they had in common was Yoda. I liked Yoda much better.
Oh, that was... I loved that part
That's
in
Yoda
episode
from the
8.
original trilogy.
Yeah.
You know, he's all happy and shit and cutting jokes and fucking not so serious and...
Well, because he's
not
dead.
beat ass.
He doesn't give a fuck. He's like, I'm just a Force Ghost. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. No, he was Yoda from the original trilogy.
Yeah. Again,
that comes back to something I told you, Matt, is that I do feel like... Now, I'm not saying storytelling, or I'm not saying, you know... which ones are better or not, but the Disney era post-original trilogy, the Disney ones versus the Lucas prequels, the Disney ones are, they have a better Star Wars feel.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with that completely.
Like feel. Like environment, you know, you could get rid of all the fucking J.J. Abrams lens flare for all I care. I mean, I don't need to see that every fucking 3 seconds. But other than that, the way they were shot, like, they feel more like the original trilogy. But
they had to do that. I mean, with how
what's wrong with that?
Well, no, nothing's wrong with it. It's just they had to go back to the original feel, because after everybody hated the prequels, there's no way Disney would even touch them with a 80,000-foot stick.
Because... All right, how recently have you seen Rogue One?
God, probably 6-7 months ago.
Okay, so fairly okay, because like I watched it right before we went and saw this, and that could have been a movie from original Lucas days. Like, it could have been a story they went with right after the third one.
Episode,
whatever.
I don't know. I'm still not a big fan of Rogue One. Like I said, that movie made me almost fall asleep in the theaters.
I don't know, man. I mean, I believe you. It felt more... I don't know. I think that's my favorite Disney era one, but that's just me. I don't know. If I'm wrong, somebody let me know. But
would you have liked the movie more? Would you have liked the movie any less if Darth Vader was not at the end?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it
needs to be in it.
No, but if he was not at the end killing all the rebels, I think people would have liked that movie less.
Okay, so I'm one of the sheep. Okay, whatever. It was badass, and it needed to be in there, and I knew it would be in there, and they did it just for people like me, and whatever. But it doesn't make the movie for me. I still think it's a good movie. But you couldn't. I agree with you. You couldn't leave that part out. Like, you have to have it in that movie. That movie does drop quite a bit without it. Yes, I'll give you that. No,
it's just, I don't know. None of the characters mattered at all in that movie, and I don't even remember their fucking names.
Well,
I really don't.
Well, they kind of matter because, I mean, they're the
reason
that the other movies exist.
I remember Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah.
Actually, what Disney should have done is they should have followed the storyline of the video games, and it should have been Kyle Katarn that rescued the plans for the first Death Star, like he did in Star Wars Dark Forces. And this is my full-on nerd getting on, because Kyle Katarn was a badass motherfucking smuggler like Han Solo, who then turned into a Jedi. A Jedi badass.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
And he learned under Luke Skywalker, and helped Luke Skywalker build his Jedi temple after Return of the Jedi. So, fuck Disney for not including Kyle Katarn. He was one of the most badass motherfuckers. I loved him. Sorry, I still get salty about that.
So.
Yeah. I know, it's like, hey, we're just gonna subvert your expectations and, not do anything good.
Well, I mean, a lot of people say Episode 7 was exactly catering to everybody's expectations to win everybody over.
But they had to.
They did that.
They had to, man. After the prequels, Disney had to do something really safe. And Episode 7, a.k.a. Episode 4 rebooted, they had to do that. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I enjoyed Episode 7. I still really enjoy Episode 7. It's a really fun movie to watch.
I like that the droids play a big part in it.
Yeah. And it's just, and then you go to Episode 8, where it's just, they subvert your expectations so much, where it's just like, what the fuck did I even watch?
Yeah, no doubt.
And the biggest takeaway for me about Episode 8 was I am no longer excited about Episode 9 at all.
We shouldn't be excited right now, anyways, because the next movie is the Han movie.
Oh God!
We'll have to talk about that on another episode, man. Because one, it's getting late into them. I am getting low on battery, so we should get through everything. But so, anyways, that's Star Wars was cool. We got to see it. We don't like it. Overall, I would give it, and I'm being nice. I would give it 2.5 SNESes. Yellow SNESes. What would you give it, man?
Two SNESes.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So we're not too far off in our opinion of it.
No.
Okay. The next movie, real quick, is I think it's movie of the year. It's my favorite movie right now. Although my wife did point out that apparently I am a big Will Smith fan. I just didn't realize it. I never put it together.
Oh, I am too.
She asked me to name a bunch of movies that I liked, and like 2/3 of them had Will Smith in it.
Bad Boys 1 and 2.
Yeah, Bad Boys is all in it.
Oh, I know. I know.
Bad Boys 3, and even though it's not even going to get made.
No, you could think this was Bad Boys 3. You know.
Yeah, Bad Boys 3 is already one of the best movies ever made. But no, Bright, the movie Bright on Netflix, man. Fuck the critics. Seriously. Who asked them anyways?
Yeah, they were going on like this is one of the worst movies ever made, and so
Netflix wasted $90 million or whatever.
Yeah, and I will say, it's not my movie of the year for last year, but it was. I had way more fun watching this than Star Wars Episode 8. It was a lot more surprisingly enjoyable, and I loved the world building of this movie as well too. It was.
That's what I like about it the most, Matt. Is that it's taking us to a whole nother place. Like they didn't just introduce these weird like species and characters. Like they gave them a believable place of where it's going on.
And the one thing that I like, and some of the complaints I've seen about the movie is like, oh, it's Will Smith. He's going to be a retired cop soon. He's waiting for his pension. Yeah, that is cliche. I'll give it that.
Yeah, I agree.
But you know, I don't really care about that. That's not the point. That he is a cliched character. It's more of that they're in an interesting world, and interesting things are happening. You know,
it's really crazy. You know, the whole. You know, they're really telling some pretty serious lines with like the whole race thing and all that, which is really interesting for a movie like that, essentially an action movie to kind of take it so serious, but in a way that you don't recognize it as being, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, they set the tone real early in the beginning, you know, and he's like, "Fairy lives don't matter today."
Yeah, that was funny as hell.
And the movie's gruesome as fuck, which I've noticed a lot of movies are kind of. Yeah, have you noticed that, like, you know, as of late, like, movies are a lot more graphic than they ever been?
Dude, even TV is a lot more graphic. And I'm not talking about Netflix shows. I mean, you know, shows they show on TV.
Yeah. Shit on main networks, like your major networks. Yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty crazy.
The movie Bright hints to you that it's gonna be brutally graphic. With that, when he smashes that fairy with the broom in the beginning, and they show it, and you know, you kind of take it for granted. You're like, oh, that's kind of messed up, and you just move on, la la la. But like, let me tell you, that movie ramps up with the graphicness pretty hard later on. So take that as a fair warning. One of the first scenes that you see in the movie is it's going to set the tone. I thought that there was a lot of funny stuff, even though it's mostly a serious movie.
Yeah.
You know, the dude, I forget his name, the dude that plays his partner, the first work cop or whatever, but he
I have to look it up. Yeah, no, it's, like I said, I don't really have many complaints with the movie. I just enjoyed it. I've watched it twice already, and I did too. What
were the critics getting at, though, truthfully? Like,
I'd have to. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'd have to read it up.
I really tried to look at it objectively the second time I watched it, and fuck me if I wasn't laughing. If I wasn't fully enjoying myself by the end of it the second time through.
Like I said, it's a very cliche in terms of a lot of its plot points, but I guess another complaint I have are the elves. the way they make the elves like super assassins, superhumans, felt a little off in some parts, but it wasn't like egregious, you know?
Well, no, it was there was a group of them, like a sect or a cult of them that was doing that. Elves in general were like the privileged race, right? They were the upper class, you know, because like they're driving through like the the Elvish area of LA, and he's like nothing out here but just elves running the world and shopping, you know.
Yeah. So I just want to make a quick note here before we end. So I'm on Rotten Tomatoes right now, and if you look at the critic scores for Star Wars: The Last Jedi, it's at 90%, which they consider certified fresh. The audience score is 49%. So you contrast that with Bright. The critic scores for Bright are at 27%, but the audience score is at 86%.
Yeah, 86% is absolutely fair for that movie.
So what does that tell you? The critics don't fucking know shit. And the only reason they gave Star Wars: Last Jedi 90% is because it's a Star Wars movie.
And Disney, and a lot of them are probably bought and sold, or a lot of them...
I guarantee they're bought and sold.
By putting a negative word in against, that type of shit.
Yeah.
Dude, that's... Okay, so, I mean, basically that just tells you right there, I mean, go with the audience ratings anytime over a critic's rating.
Hey, Feline. Sorry, I just got some other people. We just started getting some more people coming in, but we're actually starting to wrap up now because my phone is about to die.
Mine too, man. Mine too. So, and we really actually tried, guys, to have high quality. We actually prepped a little over a week ago. We tested everything, but I can't control the weather, unfortunately.
Yeah, I can't believe your power went out like that. That's insane. That's crazy.
It's still out. It's still out, man. I'm still sitting in my garage just so I get cell phone reception.
True.
But yeah, so you guys don't listen to anybody. Go watch Bright. It's fucking on Netflix. Everybody has Netflix. Watch it. It's really good. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but I highly doubt. I've yet to see somebody watch that movie and didn't like it. Check it out. Anything else that we want to hit up? Oh, real quick, I'm not going to go into it, but I watched Punisher and finished it on Netflix, which those who want to bring it up is because I actually watched the whole thing.
Oh, you finally finished it?
Yeah, don't waste your time.
Really, and that's so sad because I love the Punisher in Daredevil Season 2. He was one of my favorite things about that season.
Yeah, so watch him in there. Daredevil is much better. Much better, and he's cool in there because his job is to beat ass. It honestly felt like it could have been any other fucking TV drama fucking show. I did not. It's not to say that it was bad, but it's not comic booky. I didn't enjoy it. It didn't. It was drug out. It was way longer than it needed to be. It took way too long for good shit to happen. I'm out. I'm not interested.
Do you feel it was bad writing or bad acting, or?
No, the acting is on point. The guy that played Shane in the first season of The Walking Dead,
John Bernthal.
Kills it. No, I can't say a bad thing about that guy, but it's writing. It's absolutely writing. It's not like the scripting is bad or the communication. It's just the story. It's just unnecessary, man, and drawn out. Not for me. I don't know. Nobody waste your time. Watch the other Marvel shit. It's better. Watch that one last. I don't know. I can't get my fucking time back for watching that shit till the end. I was forcing myself the last 2 episodes.
Oh god, that's the worst.
So I finished it.
So I thought I saw the first 2 episodes. No, I only watched the first episode, and I was bored.
You didn't go back?
No, I didn't go back. No, and I love all the other Marvel shows. As soon as a new one came on, I binge watched it in less than a week. This has been the only one where I watched the first episode and I couldn't bring myself to keep watching.
Don't. I mean, unless you really, really got nothing else to watch, man.
Oh, I've got plenty of shit to watch right now. I have been binge watching The West Wing, and I'm obsessed.
The West Wing? Oh,
yeah.
my God.
Dude, it's so good.
You're getting so old, bro.
I know.
I didn't expect you to say that. I thought you were going to say Westworld for a second. With the West
No,
Wing.
the West Wing. I know. I'm getting so old that political dramas are way more interesting than comic book shit. I'm such a boring person.
I'm telling you, dude. We just watched the West Wing and scare armadillos out of eating our grass. We're getting old.
Oh God.
Man.
All right. I think we need to wrap this up here.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think so. And next week, I'm not kidding you. I'm gonna pre-run my extension cords to my internet router and to my game room, so I can have, if power goes out, I can switch over. I'm not kidding you. I'll fire the generator up. I'll do it right next week.
How's your generator going to work if your whole neighborhood loses power, including the wherever you're?
I'm just going to fire it up. It's going to be loud as shit. I'm going to run an extension cord into my office. But guess what just happened? As I'm talking to you, my power came back.
The power came. Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not fucking kidding you. We said we're ending the podcast. And as soon as we start, it dies. When I say we're ending, it comes back up.
That is hilarious. Oh, man. Well, it is what it is.
Yep.
For
sure.
All right, so where can people find you, Butler?
You can find me on... all right, so it's bad. I'll post it up in the description. I'm at KillaBees2T on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook, Matt Butler to search. You can find me gamertag, PlayStation is KillaBee. I'm going to put it all in the description because I had to spell it different ways.
I'll put it up on the stream too for next time we go on. I'll put on your side, Twitter, Facebook, and all that shit. So I'll do that next time.
KillaBees2T. But you can also, the best way, I guess, to get either one of us, truthfully, is just to do... VCR Gaming Podcast. So at VCR Gaming on Twitter, VCR Gaming Podcast at gmail.com, VCRGamingPodcast.com. We have that domain. Get us on any of that. iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, search VCR Gaming. You'll find us. That's probably the easiest way.
True. So, and if you want to reach me, I'm on Twitter at Zubatron or at Magic with Zuby. Magic with Zuby is my other podcast. It's primarily Magic the Gathering, but I also talk a little bit about Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm also going to be doing live streaming of my podcast as well, too, then release the audio portion of it, on Friday. So you can catch that on Twitch, which if you're watching me right now, it's on twitch.tv/Zubatron. So you can check that out there, too. And I'm available, same thing. You can reach me at VCR Gaming or vcrgamingpodcast at gmail.com.
There you go. This podcast will, Matt, I'll get with you tomorrow. We'll bring a laptop and we'll get this edited up ASAP. And also, guys, look out. There may be a super secret hidden podcast that might come out as well.
Maybe one day.
Maybe we do have a hidden one here that possibly might be. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I did title this on the stream "The Search for the Missing Episode."
Yes, that's right. So. All right. Well, nothing else? I guess that's it, huh, Matt?
Yep, I better let you go because my phone's going to die any second now.
All right. Well, thanks, everyone.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.